So what's up with the name of the show?
With all of the volatility in the world and in the markets, is it reasonable to think that you could retire with confidence?
Let's talk about it. I'm Archie Hoxton.
And I'm Rob Hoxton.
And this is Last Paycheck, weekly wisdom to help you retire and stay that way. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Last Paycheck podcast. I'm your host, Archie Hoxton.
And I'm Rob Hoxton.
And so today, this is our first episode, so we're really going to focus on introducing ourselves. We're going to share a little bit about the inspiration of why we decided to start a podcast, what we hope to cover as we continue to, produce more content and episodes, and what we hope that you get out of it. So we'll start with the name. You want to talk a little bit about the name and where that inspiration came from?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've been providing financial planning services and investment management services for this July 2nd will be 31 years. Hard to believe. But for the last 31 years, as we help people get close to retirement and they're at the point of transition, we get this question. What's it going to be like when I get my last paycheck? Sometimes it's something that is said with great excitement. Other times maybe it's a little bit of trepidation or fear. Everyone's different, of course, but it seems to be an almost universal concern. So we thought, hey, this would be a great title for our show.
Yeah. And whether you're feeling excitement or fear, we hope that as we move through this podcast and, come up with more ideas and share our experience that you, kind of learn to navigate that for yourself. What we love doing is helping people really navigate through those emotions. The financial part of it is, of course, really important, and that needs to be squared away. But with a little bit of professional guidance, that can be done fairly easily. The emotional part of it is oftentimes the most difficult part. So we want to take a holistic look and look at the psychological side of retirement, the lifestyle side of retirement, the big change, the change management, and then also the financial side, so that we can kind of balance that. So whatever it is that you're looking for, you find something here.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's important for us to say that we're not psychologists. We are financial planners, but we really do take a holistic view. So analogy that I really like is that, some of us will live in retirement for maybe as long as we worked. I grew up on a farm and started working at a pretty young age. So maybe that won't be the case for me, but a lot of us will live for a long time in retirement, and it is a major journey, right? And so, as is the case with any journey, you got to have a destination in mind. So you need to be able to articulate your goals, right? And that's part of what financial planning is about. But anytime you have a major destination, you need a map, right? And that's what a financial plan is. The money is kind of like the gas that gets you there. So when you're planning a journey, you don't spend all of your time worrying about gas, maybe unless you have an electric vehicle, but you don't spend all of your time worrying about gas. You really think about the exciting part of it. The planning that goes into it is really important to make sure that you get there. And that's really our job as a financial planner, is to help you do that. And in this show, which is both a podcast and a video YouTube type show, we're going to just touch each week on important things that you should be doing right now. We're going to tell you stories that we've encountered, real life situations that we've encountered. Sometimes there'll be decisions that were made by folks that maybe didn't work out so great. And other times there'll be decisions that worked out really well. We'll help you navigate that.
Yeah. And there's so much information out there. Whether it's, if you watch the financial news, CNBC, and, you watch the markets, if you go on social media and you follow people giving advice on social media, crypto, all this kind of stuff, we can, help you navigate that too. Because, we've actually had the responsibility of guiding real people through these major decisions that have real impact, and the stakes are really high, like in your scenario. So our goal is to kind of clear the air and give just timeless wisdom that has always applied and will always apply, just making good decisions and ultimately leading to the outcomes that you're looking for, right? The life you want to live. And if that's whatever that is, if it's retiring early, if it's working your whole life but not having to necessarily, keep from getting bored, or maybe it is kind of a more traditional idea of retirement where, you take a 30-year vacation when you turn 60 and just never look back. So
it's great. It's different for everyone. And we love the process of imagining with people what that might look like for them, and then how to make that happen.
Right.
So that on the day that last paycheck arrives, and that may just be the last paycheck that you have to have in order to make important decisions. You may decide to continue to have a paycheck. Archie and I are father son. I may think that I want to work until I'm 90 and continue to actually have a paycheck. Now, of course, Archie may have a completely different view of what that ought to look like. But at any rate, the beauty of reimagining retirement is that you do it in the way that makes the most sense for you.
Right.
We'll talk about that in this show.
Yeah, and there are all kinds of cool ideas that financial planners like ourselves that we know and work with and collaborate with are coming up with for reimagined retirements. Career changes, sabbaticals, volunteering, and it's all about taking the time for you and planning ahead and weighing those options, and take these ideas that we're giving and use them for yourself. If you like them, or throw them away if you don't like them. What we hope to do is help you navigate this.
As human beings, we are happiness-seeking creatures. It's evident in everything we do. I mean, I struggle with carrying a few extra pounds, and that's because one of the things that makes me really happy is, a good meatloaf or a nice pound cake. I mean, these are the things that I love, right? So I'm seeking happiness when I eat those things, and we're going to talk about that. What helps people be happy when they reach and proceed into their ideal vision of retirement? There's a great study that came out that they just released an update to. It's been going for 70 or 80 years, I think. It was by Harvard. They started studying, it was men in this case, but a bunch of men starting in 1938. Only 60 of them are still alive, but they're all in their 90s. And they found that there were really two things that determined whether or not they were happy in life, not only when they were retired, but also when they were still working. And it seems pretty simple. One of them is to stay engaged. And when you quit working, you kind of lose your contact with people. Yeah. And the other is being able to let go of certain things. Like, we get older, retired folks in here that are spending a lot more time watching the news, and they come in and they're convinced that the world is going to hell in a handbasket. Sometimes you have to be able to let stuff like that go, I guess.
Yeah. And for many people, you've built a network of relationships through work. You've got your work friends, happy hours and that kind of thing. And that's a sort of a baseline of social engagement where you're at the very least seeing people every day at work and talking to them, making small talk. When folks stop working, often they bring up that they're kind of lonely because now their relationships with the people who are working, well, they're busy at work. And so having a plan for being connected with the people you love, having relationships, and having things to do and be involved. This is another way that you can manage that as you transition to retirement and manage all this additional time that you have to fill.
So if you like listening in on some of these real life stories that we encounter in our practice and finding ways to apply those to your own life, then we would encourage you to tune in. This will be every week, and hopefully it'll be something that will be useful to you, and we welcome your participation.
That's just about it for today. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. You've been watching Last Paycheck, weekly wisdom to help you retire and stay that way. If you like this show, be sure to hit like and subscribe. Last Paycheck is available anywhere you get your podcasts.